We've caught up with a couple of Vikings here in the Nordic Game Pavilion at GDC D-Pad Studios, and it's been a while since I saw you two, and I saw you two guys with Owlboy when you were IGF nominees a couple of years back. So what's been going on with Owlboy since then?
Well, everything. We've been sitting 24 hours working on it since then, so the IGF nomination really gave us a boost because it showed us that people are interested in the game. And after that we just finished a demo and gave up a trailer, and it just sparked so much interest into the game. So we've been working at it 24 hours since then.
Yeah, what we've been doing now is trying out some new things. A lot of the time that's been going into the actual game development has been to polish it. Right now, all of the content is in the game. We have the dungeons in, we have the open areas that you'll explore, we have all the characters, everything is in there, but we just decided that we needed to flesh out the world a little more. We needed to get the characters in there, we needed to get the feel of the gameplay. So a lot of what's been going on is simply getting the feel of combat, for example. A lot of people complain about the combat being too slow and drudgy, so we've been adding a lot of work on that, just getting the impacts of everything in. Adding more powers for Otis himself. And also we've done things like, instead of the gunners in the game, for example, those were, you could collect them as you go, but they weren't mandatory. But then we decided that it's kind of boring to just go around and use the same power-ups all the time and not explore everything. So we decided to make everything mandatory. The gunners are now people you meet throughout the game. You will collect them as you go. You'll get very specific power-ups. You'll get very specific puzzles for them, and that also means that we can custom tailor bosses for those gunners.
So it seems to me like bringing out the demo really gave you guys a lot more work to do.
Oh yeah. The feedback of it is the important part. I mean, even the demo we have behind us right now, we made a brand new demo. We decided, I think it was something like 3-4 weeks before we came here, that things needed a bit more pacing. We needed to teach the players how to play, the different new things that we've added into it. So we added a completely brand new dungeon with a new boss, a new set of enemies, everything. And I think that really helps get to the core of those things that our fans wanted us to add.
And what's the experience been like? I understand when you have a game that's piquing player interest, a lot of publishers come knocking on the door. Sort of, how have you dealt with sort of that, the business side of things since you got your nomination and all that?
Well, we did get a lot of attention from those as well, especially when we launched a new trailer. And a lot of people have been wanting to help us like translate in the game, because we're gonna have it in both English and Norwegian, but Japanese people came and said, please let us get it in Japan, and French people came, and everything just, everybody wanted it. So now we want to first finish the game and then kind of think about where are we going to release this. Is this going to be a Mac ported, or we're just so busy getting the game complete before we think about actually marketing or giving out it on different platforms. And
a lot of our focus right now is simply to get the game done. We have already scheduled for a huge promotional campaign once the game is actually done, and we've just decided that we're not going to be dealing with publishers yet. If people come to us with an offer, that's fantastic. We're going to look into that. We're listening. We have a bunch of options available right now, but the important part is that we have to feel that the game is done. We don't want to be pressured into finishing the game early.
So, and I think that's one of the benefits you have as an indie developer. You can actually take that time to make the game you want to make, and you don't have those pressures.
Yeah. The only pressure we really get is from my parents. They say, when is the game coming out? As well as our fans, of course. But
it's harder to ignore your family when they...
Yes, very.
All right, so you're also showing off, and that's to do with the hats, Viking on trampolines there. So you haven't just been working on Owlboy for all these years, right?
No, we have to have a vacation as well.
Yeah.
That's when we start working on other games.
Yeah.
And Vikings on Trampolines being one of those games. We made it. We decided just to have a week break, and we sat down and tried to enjoy the sun and the summer. Didn't happen. We were stuck in the office still and just thinking about ideas, what to do, and we started working on Vikings on Trampolines.
It does seem like an idea that may have been brought about by beer or something like that.
No. I mean, none of us really drink. Well, Joe drinks a lot, but the way it works is, we found an old game that he did when he was 14 on his hard drive. He said it was an historical game, that it was this epic battle between two civilizations, and it turned out that he couldn't at that point figure out how to make people walk, so he just put trampolines in there, had them bounce around, explode when they hit the ground, and this concept was so awesome that we had to do something with it. And so it's true, we actually sat down for 1 week, made this game, the music, the content, everything, which really didn't take all that long. Then we went to Sweden, showed it off at the indie convention there, and we actually won an award for it. So after all this massive hype that we received around it, I mean, we can't just let that lie there. So after Owlboy's done, I can absolutely promise you that we're going to have a full content version of Vikings and Trampolines.
So I guess that goes into the whole thing about limitations actually being freeing your mind and giving you great ideas, right?
Yeah.
without that limitation of not being able to walk, you'd never come up with this idea.
No, that's true, and because I started on the project when I was a little kid, 14 years old. So I didn't know anything. So the thing I did, I just made some crappy game, and it looked like shit, I promise you. Then I just showed it to Simon, and he said, I can make this look like gold. And he did, in a week. So that if I had shown Vikings and Trampolines the way I made it, nobody would give a crap.
There is something to be said about making a game or making a product that feels right. If you, for example, told an artist that, okay, make anything you want in the entire world, that's the most difficult thing you can ask someone. When you have something small and where your limitations are actually crippling you in your development, and then you can actually expand it with an engine where you can kind of fulfill that idea, I think that'll create something a lot better.
All right, so you don't have a date for us for Owlboy, but we're hoping that sometime soon it's going to be out, before the end of the year at least.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem.